Hello, this is Connie Marie Forrest, and today I'm going to make a video called Facts About Myself. And this is a video I've also seen over YouTube. Like several people do this video type of video where they talk about themselves. I'm not going to give a precise number of how many facts I know about myself because there's a lot of interesting facts about me. Well, for one, I was born in Oxnard, California, and I'm 27 and I will be 28 in April 2nd because I was actually born April 2nd of 1987. I know a lot of people tell me I look like a minor, and I'm sitting here so you can kind of get a better view of me and stuff like that. So yeah. Uh, Another fact about me is even though I was born in California, I'm not a beach person. I'm more of a woodsy, earthy type of person. I love places like Seattle, and in fact, I used to live in Seattle. But most of my memories are visiting there in Seattle. Like when I was living in Covington, Washington, I would visit in Seattle, basically. Um, I'm an only child, which is another fact about me. When I was growing up as a kid, I always wanted to be an actress. Matter of fact, I love entertaining people. I can be a very comedic person. And I like to make people laugh, but I also like making an ass of myself when I get drunk mostly. But I do that because life is short, and if you take life too serious, you'll never make it out alive. Alright. Okay, you're probably thinking, okay, what kind of person are you? Are you a cat person or are you a dog person? I say I'm an animal person in general. I love animals. I have quite a deep love for them, even though I'm not a vegetarian. I'm an omnivore and I do like my meat a lot, but the thing is, I love animals, okay? I love animals. I am very sensitive towards them, and I'm really sensitive towards children. But even then, I guess even if I love animals a lot, I tend to be more of a cat person. I tend to have more a tolerance for cats, I suppose. I guess it's a lot easier for me to have a cat as a pet, basically. I don't know why that is. I assume it's because dogs like to be walked on leashes and they pull really hard and practically drag you. Or feel like they're gonna drag you. But no, cats usually don't. I mean, some yes, but you can train some cats, but most cats don't like it if you walk them, and I prefer it that way, basically. I mean, I don't mind dogs either. I just don't like having to walk them on a leash because then they drag you and it's a pain in the ass. And yes, you gotta keep a dog active, especially if it's a very active breed. Um, I know what types of breeds of dogs I like. I like pit bulls, I like huskies, I like German shepherds, and I like dogs that are just, really plush, but not like poodle plush. There's like a dog that I know in my apartment that has like a pug and a beagle in him, and he is super plush, really soft dog. Looks like the combination of both the breeds actually. But the thing is, what most people don't know about me. Actually think I might have said it, but the fact is that when I was a little girl, I had a cat with the name Midnight, just the same name as the cat I have now, even though I know that's a common name. But when I was a little girl at the age of 6, I had a cat with the name Midnight, and the one I had when I was little had really long fur. Um, Basically, I don't know precisely how long it was, but I remember it was much longer than the cat I have now, and this one wasn't as smooth and silky as the one I have now. But my parents had to put him to sleep because he had a tailbone that got infected, and he would have, it was like traveling up his back, and it would have eventually killed him anyways. So my parents had to have him put to sleep because that's what the veterinarian recommended, because the veterinarian believed that if the cat didn't get put to sleep, then the cat would have died very painfully because of the infection in the tail. That's all I really remember because I was the age of 6. As far as the cat, I've had other cats. I'm used to cats, and I think that's probably why I tend to lean more towards cat person. But like I said, I don't mind dogs. I really don't. I tend to prefer the bigger breeds usually, but I don't mind small ones either, especially if they're cute and plush. But quite personally, I do have a soft spot for animals in general. Basically, let's see, what are facts about me? Oh yeah, another fact about me is I like making things like this out of like popsicle sticks. And I painted this, and before I even painted this, I painted it with fingernail polish and then went over it with regular paint. And then there's also permanent marker on this. Yeah, you could say I'm pretty creative. Let's see, what other facts about me? Oh yeah, my one of my biggest role models growing up was Lucy Lawless, who played Xena from Xena Princess Warrior. And I really idolized Xena the way she was as a character, and I always wanted to be like her growing up. And I think she just ends up becoming so much of a reflection of myself in a lot of ways because I'm very temperamental, like a typical Aries. I tend to have a warrior spirit. I mean, like, there's a part of me that's a fighter, basically. But the thing is, I feel like I relate to Xena so in so many areas because I even have a good friend who's like Gabrielle, even though she's not a blonde and her eyes are brown. So she doesn't look like Gabrielle, but she's got the demeanor of Gabrielle. She's got the personality. She even got the sassiness and all that. But she's got a good heart like Gabrielle, and she really makes you feel better as a person, like because she sees the good in you. Basically, she has a habit of seeing good in people. Basically, that's just how she is. And I'm more like Xena in the sense that I'm not as trusting as Gabrielle. Basically, I'm more like Xena with her instinct, her gut feeling that she has regarding people. Basically, I mean, sometimes she'll get instincts that tell her to trust somebody. So there's that. It's not always negative, but there's that. And I'm pretty stubborn like Xena. And like I said, pretty hot-headed. I like being the dominant female. I like being the boss lady, basically. I like that. That's something I desire a lot. Not just because of Xena. I think it's naturally just a part of my personality. But the thing is, on the flip side, I do have a sensitive side, which usually comes out with people I really care about, animals, and I tend to be sensitive towards kids. I don't know why, it's just animals tend to like me and children tend to like me. I don't know what makes children come up to me like that. I don't know why I'm so approachable to children. It's weird. I don't go up to them, they usually go up to me. That's just how that is. Both children and animals that are like that. Like, they, for some reason, feel comfortable around me. I don't know what that is. Because I was in a bookstore once and sitting down just looking at magazines, and a little girl came up to me with an actual book. Child storybook. And she asked me to read for her, and I didn't think much about it. I was like, okay, I'll read this book for you. So then finally her dad comes looking for her, and then he talks to me, and he says, that's pretty surprising that my daughter wanted you to read her a book. And I was like, why is that? Because she's usually really shy and she doesn't trust people very easily. And so I was like, yeah. I'm like, that's surprising to me because she was really friendly. But that's just how children are around me. It's weird. And even animals come up to me often. Like during Halloween of 2011, a male pit bull came right up to me and insisted that I'd pet it, and it was licking me. It's super friendly to me. Now, people say negative things about pit bulls a lot, but they can be friendly too. Basically, let's see. What are facts about me? I'm really trying to think about this. Oh yeah, my favorite band is Evanescence, even though I do like 3 Days Grace. Um, I like a lot of goth bands too, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this one, but it's like I think it's Brodus, or I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but one of their songs that I like listening to is Bela Lugosi's Dead. It's a very interesting goth song. Let's see. And then there's a song by Sisters of Mercy, I think is what it is. Sisters of Mercy, I don't really remember what the name of the band is flat out, but damn, I even forgot the name of it. Sorry about that. My attention deficit acts up, and that's another fact about me. I've had that since childhood, been labeled with it since age of 4, and yes, I've took Ritalin before, to the point that when I was a little kid, yeah, I took a lot of Ritalin, and it made me look like I was really pale. I look pale now. When I was a little girl, it really concerned my aunts because I was just like really ghostly pale from taking Ritalin, basically. But I'm not stupid. I'm not like flat out retarded. Okay, no offense personally, because I have nothing against people who are that way. It's just I am a lot smarter than that. I'm not like that worse off, but I do struggle in certain areas. So I do acknowledge that. Like my mind is all over the place and my attention span is wild. Basically, as you will often notice watching my videos, that I will trail off into other conversations. Not so much right now. It's just more of I have a habit of trailing off or just not being able to speak very clearly sometimes. It's weird. But sometimes I can speak perfectly clearly to the point I sound intelligent. It's just certain times not so much. Oh, let's see. Another fact about me. Another fact about me is I'm an author of the book Annabelle the Brave. I'm also a Wiccan minister of the goddess Hecate. Um, Basically, I'm legally ordained. I believe it's through USC Seminary. I got ordained off of that site, and it's not just strictly over the site. What you do is you sign up for that, and they have to verify that you're a real person before they can legally ordain you as a minister, basically. But the direction I lean towards is more Wiccan, even though I do have Buddhist beliefs, which is an interesting fact about me. I mean, I won't say that I'm a perfect Wiccan or Buddhist. I'd rather be humble about it because I'm not like the best definition of one. Like, I am flawed just as much as anybody else. Plain and simple. So yeah, so there's that. But no, I do believe in Wiccan and Buddhist beliefs, basically. Then I have a lot of New Agey beliefs too, and I'm a very nature type of person who likes to be down to earth, basically. Even if I am pretty outspoken like a typical Aries. But okay, another fact about me is that my favorite color is purple. But I also like black, and I like teal, and I like blue. And I like red too, like various type shades of red, and I also tend to like forest green. But green on its own is a pretty nice color. But but no, my all-time favorite color is purple, like an intense purple. Um, Not quite like my hair, even though I love it. It's purple, but I'm talking like a purple that stands out kind of like that, or slightly brighter. But I don't mind darker purples either. But the electric purple is really nice. So I tend to like that. I don't know, I'm having kind of a obsession with Pearl Essence looking eyeshadows and fingernail polishes lately. So I guess I kind of like that too. And I had my nails done quite a I think it was a month ago. Yeah, it was a month ago that I had my nails done, and I had them done to the point I had excuse me, I had them done, but they weren't like with the fake nails. I just had my nails painted at a nail salon, and they're the hologram nails. They called them hologram nails. They had glittery look on them, but they looked like rainbow, kind of rainbowish colors, but the main color was like a lilac purple, basically. Lilacish or lavenderish type of color. My mom, in her opinion, she believed it was more lilac, basically. But I like those hologram nails. And I am a part of the goth culture, even if I don't always dress the part. I'm more of a rebellious type of goth, so I just do whatever I don't want to with my appearance. Pretty much. Because, I'll wear stuff like this too. With Aries and such. And I'll pretty much wear anything I like or do whatever I want to do with my life. As long as it ain't too extreme, like breaking a law or something like that. I try to stay away from that because you don't want to go to jail now. So there's that. I'm not saying I'm a saint or anything, but still. But the thing is, oh shoot, I was thinking what I was going to say. Oh yeah, another fact about me. I think this is really cool. I had my photo taken with a leopard. Yeah, he was sedated though, so he couldn't hurt me. But as you can see, what my natural hair color was in that photo. As you can tell, I used to have auburn hair. So by definition, I'm a redhead. I actually found that I never really realized I was a redhead. I just assumed I had a reddish tone in my hair, but I never thought that was a classification of redhead. It just seems like when I was really young, I especially looked like that. But I would go from being like during the winter and like colder months, like fall, for example, even, my hair would be more brown. But during the warmer months, like spring and summer, my hair would be more red, basically. But the older I got, the more my hair darkened. So it got to the point that I'm more of a brunette. And I don't really see the auburn in my hair anymore. Like if my roots were to grow out, I would see like a kind of a dark brown. But that happens when you get older sometimes, basically. Oh, and another thing about me is that my eyes are actually a classification of hazel. But they're mostly green. Where the green in my eyes tends to stand out more. But there's also gray, blue, and brown, and a slight bit of yellow in my eyes. But the majority of the color that shows up is green, basically. But depending on what I wear, whether it be makeup or clothing, determines what my eyes will look like, pretty much. Another fact about me is I am 5'3", even though I swore at one point that it was 5'4". But my back, I kind of have issues with it, and I think because of my back problems, that's why I went back to being like 5'3" in my height, basically. So I'm just short, slightly shorter than my mom by an inch. I hate being that short, so by definition, I'm a petite female, but I'm not the most petite. And I mean petite as in short, kind of short. I'm more of like a busty petite, basically. Where I'm not like your typical Caucasian lady. I have a lot of cushion. Let's just put it that way. And pretty busty and curvy. Not gonna lie. Not gonna go too much into detail, but still relatively pretty big. Even if I am heavy set, but I'm willing to bet even if I wasn't heavy set, I would still be pretty busty, I'm thinking. Like, I know I'm a plus size lady, basically. I know that for a fact. But another fact about me is that when I was 7, I fell out of a tree and my bottom lip busted open, and my parents had to rush me to the hospital, and I had my lips stitched. Not lips, I should say bottom lip stitched, I think is what it was. It was a bottom lip that busted open, and I had to have it stitched at the age of 7 because I didn't listen to my mom and dad, and I went up in a tree with the pops. Actually, it was my mom. I didn't listen to my mom. She'd tell me not to go up in the tree with the popsicle that I had. It was a Mickey Mouse popsicle, and it had a spoon in it. Can you say lucky? Because I could have choked on that. Coming down that tree, I could have choked. I got lucky. But that's not the only time I could ignore my mom, because it was one point my mom told me that I could not swim. So she's like, stay where I can see you. Don't go out in the shallow part of the water in the lake. So actually I think it was more of a river, but I went out in the shallow part thinking I could swim because I was in a swimming pool at one point, swimming in it, and thought I could swim. It was really small, basic swimming, but, just getting all gung-ho, thinking I can, swim in the harsher current of that river. Yeah, it was another time that I could have seriously died. But somehow managed to get out of there before I could even drown. Yeah, because I went under the water, and I was smart enough to hold my breath long enough, but I could have seriously drowned if it wasn't for somebody who stepped in and to basically save me. Like, there was a guy who dived into the river just to go after me. And my mom was glad, because she said that if that did not happen, she would have drowned going after me, because that's what moms do. They care, basically. So she would have possibly drowned if it wasn't for the guy helping, apparently. Yeah, so I was that kind of kid that I'd get my mind set on doing something and I'd go do it, despite my parents very bad at listening to them. That's what happens when you're also an Aries, I suppose, because with my zodiac sign being the way it is, even though I know there's a site called 13 Zodiac Signs, and they say on that site that I'm a Pisces. I guess in a way I kind of have both aspects to me. Like, I have a part of me that's an Aries, but I have a part of me that thinks like a Pisces, basically. Because I could be sensitive like a Pisces. I'm quite spiritual like a Pisces, and I'm not always there like a Pisces. Which could contribute why my mind's all over the place. Oh yeah, another fact about me is I have 2 birthmarks, but the one you pretty much have to see me naked just to see it, and I'm not going to show it. But the one that I did not know about was under this ear. It's my right ear, but the camera shows it left, but it's not. But with my right ear, I have a birthmark that is barely noticeable. It looks like dirt, but it's not. It's actually a birthmark. Like, my mom actually told me that I had 2 birthmarks because I was somehow talking about one birthmark. And she's like, that's not the only one you have, by the way. I happen to know you have one under your ear. That's a ironic thing, too, because, yeah, sometimes your parents paid attention to things you don't, or they notice certain things. They know certain things because they raised you, yada-dee. Like, I had an argument with my mom over my breast cup size because we were looking for bras, and she was telling me, you're not a C, Connie. You're not a big C. You're actually a D. I didn't listen to her. I didn't think much. So finally, I get around to looking for a bra and find out she's right, because the bras meant for a C cup don't fit me. Which explains something, because I was in Gorman's trying to try on a bra that was my old size, and it didn't fit. And it broke. And I was like, oh crap. Shouldn't let anyone figure out that I just broke that bra. It was one of those situations, like, I didn't mean to, I didn't realize I was that, yeah. It happens. But, okay. What other fact do I know about myself? I'm trying to think. Two of my friends that I had when I was a kid, that I was really close to, I had friends with the name Danny and Joshua, and, I was like the tomboy growing up, and so I usually liked hanging out with boys. But I had a couple friends that were girls, but I don't know. Well, there was another friend of mine that was a boy that I'd hang out with, and he had a serious crush on me. And I remember finding like a box without no ring in it, but one of those ring boxes. And I picked it up and opened it to look at it. And he says, one of these days there'll be a real ring in there, and we'll get married. Saying that like a hopeless romantic. Pretty much. So he had like a hardcore crush on me. Memories. That was a wild thing about it. But no, I was pretty much a tomboy and a wild child. That's just how my personality was. It's not saying that I wasn't afraid to embrace my feminine side, but I was pretty much a tomboy. Not so much an athletic tomboy, even if I would climb up on monkey bars and climb up into a tree. Yeah, I like climbing things. But I wasn't really athletic. I just liked to climb a lot as a kid. That's just how that was. But I was more of the type of tomboy that would hang out with boys. I would even play video games. I'd even have belching and farting contests. I miss that a lot. Not gonna lie. And I would even belch the alphabet with my friends. And they encouraged it. It's so funny. It's hysterical. But no, so there's that memory. Growing up in Covington a little bit, I suppose. Even though I'm originally from, like, California. Like I said, I'm not a beach person. Well, primarily the reason why I'm not a beach person is too much sun, too much sand that feels like crap on your feet. And sand in itself is a pain in the ass. Because there's lakes in Nebraska that I've been to that literally do have sand. And sand gets everywhere. It gets in your bum, it gets in your private areas, it gets in your scalp. It's just a pain in the ass, really. I don't like the way it feels on me, sand. I don't mind water and I don't mind swimming. It's just the aspect of the sand getting everywhere. Which kind of concludes to a little bit of my phobias. I don't know why my mind is gravitating towards that, but I will go ahead and say what my phobias are. I'm claustrophobic. I don't like tight spaces. I don't even like things that are too tight on me. So there's that. So I would not get into bondage, even though I've tried it, I've experimented with it, but I didn't like it. Not on myself, no. I mean, I'd tie a guy up if he wanted that. Well, no, I would not like it myself because I prefer being the dominatrix. Yeah. But, okay. Other phobias I know I do have. I'm afraid of spiders. I cannot stand the shit out of spiders. I don't like sharks either. I have a phobia of that, which is weird because my dad has actually swam with sharks before. He's not even afraid of them. But I, for some reason, have an innate phobia of sharks. I cannot explain it. I just do for some weird reason. And I know I'm afraid of heights, which I did get that from my dad. Well, my dad hates spiders too, but he's more likely to smash them. I'm more likely to freak out. I don't really even like very many bugs either. Like, I don't like cockroaches. And, so yeah, so there's that. Oh, let's see, what else do I know about myself that I can share? Oh, I like horror movies, and I like comedies. Um, And I don't like chick flicks at all, unless they're really funny and entertaining enough. But usually most chick flicks are boring to me. But if they're not a boring chick flick and they can, actually get me interested in watching it, because I'll admit there are some chick flicks that I've watched before and actually got into. But I'm more into the whole horror and comedy and sci-fi type of thing, and I can be quite an uber geek, basically. Because prior to me even being goth, that's how I was. Because that's what I grew up with. Because my father is a geek by definition, basically. And I want to go to a geek convention because I've never been to one. But my dad, for some reason, doesn't want to go to one because he thinks it would be embarrassing, even if he is a geek. I don't know. It would be nice if he could be able to go with me, so that way we had something special to do, like bonding time, I suppose. But no, I've never been to a geek convention. I'd like to cosplay as Xena, and I'd like for my own best friend, Cherokee, to cosplay as Gabrielle, basically. Because she actually suits the character Gabrielle quite well. It would just have to get a blonde wig and, like, maybe different contacts for her. Different colored contacts for her. Because her eyes are naturally brown. And Gabrielle doesn't have brown eyes. As I noticed, her eyes are kind of green. The actress that plays Gabrielle, her eyes are green. That might be like a type of hazel, I don't know. But, I don't know. All I know is I just want to cosplay. And I want to go to, like, out of my way to literally, put up a scene that seems like it's out of Xena. Pretty much. Like, I want to devote my time prior to the cosplaying to basically making the proper, cosplaying experience, basically. But no, I've never done it before, but it just looks like it'd be a lot of fun to cosplay. Even though I thought about dressing up as a Jedi before, even a Sith Lord. I guess it depends on what I decide on. I don't know. Oh, that's funny. But I'm trying to think of other facts about me. I like playing Sims. I haven't tried Sims 4 yet, though. Because I'm hesitant with Sims 4. It doesn't seem like it gets my attention. That, and its pricey comparison to Sims 3. I'm willing to bet even if I waited, the price would not be reduced at a decent level. Basically, a decent enough level for me. And I enjoy Sims 3 enough as it is. So there's that. But, let's see. I did enjoy playing Jedi Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox. I had a regular Xbox, and I would play it on there. I enjoyed playing that, and then there was a game with an alien in it called Kill All Humans, and that was a lot of fun. And Grand Theft Auto is a lot of fun to play. Just because you get to be chaotic in the game. Basically, you'd blow things up and do crazy, wild stuff in the game. And a lot of people just like playing that. For some weird reason. Let's see. What are facts about me? Oh, I'm sorry. Kind of like yawning. Hope it's not contagious. Then you don't get it. Oh, another fact about me is I like doing artistic, creative stuff. Like I showed you with that, this. But I like doing other stuff that are creative. There's a lot of things I'd like to do with creative skills. Like like to learn how to make costumes. Like they do like off on Face Off, basically. The show on Sci-Fi. I enjoy watching that. And usually I've learned a lot from Face Off just watching it. That the judges don't like a muddy makeup, and that they want something that's put together, you know, well, and they want the costumes that are based on a particular theme to actually suit it and fit it good enough, basically. But no, they've got to be able to translate what you do with your costume real well. They need to be able to understand it good enough, basically. But the thing is, I usually know, I usually know what looks good and what don't with the makeup that people do with their costumes and such and whatnot. So yeah, and I usually call it like I see it when I watch that show because usually you get some of the people that do really crappy makeup and costumes, and then you know, I pretty much know right off that they're the ones gonna go home pretty much usually, and so they usually do. And there it goes again. I'm quite an art critic. I do feel that a lot of art these days is not real art to me. I like fantasy art. A lot of modern fantasy art is nice for me. I like that. And I like goth art, like even modern gothic type of art that kind of, you know, interweaves with the fantasy art sometimes. Um, but I most of the art I tend to lean more towards is the more effort you put into it to me is the better the art. The less effort, crap. You get a lot of artists these days who don't know art, what it stands for and what the definition of it is, and they put art together that I honestly think that my own shit on a canvas would look 10 times better. But no, you get so many good artists that don't get the credit they fully deserve, and a lot of it might be because, you know, they really don't focus on trying to better themselves as artists in the sense of, you know, demanding more money and going somewhere in their life. So a lot of them struggle and, you know, they lose their apartments and they barely are able to feed themselves. That's where the whole starving artist thing comes from. A lot of good artists throughout history died to become famous. Or they died and they became famous. Better wording than that, I suppose. But the thing is, I just think that it's a shame that you get so many crappy artists, so-called artists, who are douchebags in my opinion. They don't deserve that credit. They have far too much confidence in themselves. But the real artists don't have enough. And it's sad. I think that just really upsets me and gets under my skin when that happens. Because I really have a high affinity for those who are true artists. Those who are crappy artists, in my opinion, no. I don't like a crap artist. No. Because I know throughout history there's been really good art where the artist puts more effort into it and it's more captivating. Like Vincent van Gogh, his art's good. I also like Leonardo da Vinci because he didn't just have quite an eye for art. He was also an inventor and he seemed to be a highly intellectual individual. So yeah, so there's that. But the thing is, I just tend to feel that more effort you put into art, the better art becomes. And I don't even so much like modern houses that much. I tend to have a deep love for things that are like classic, like Victorian. And my desire is to take a house that's been abandoned, that's an old Victorian or a really good classic house, and restore it back to its natural beauty and make it look like it's brand new but still have that old feel. Where I keep a lot of its natural appearance, basically, but cleaning it up, making it look nice, yada yada. I'd like to restore homes, is basically what I'm saying. I like creating stuff so I could see myself doing that kind of thing. So yeah, let's see what else. do I know about myself? I don't own a car at this moment. I don't have a car. I've never been able to learn how to drive a car, but I have a passion for muscle cars. I like the red Ford Mustang, and I also like the black Thunderbird car. Um, but see, the thing is, I also like other muscle cars, but I've never been able to drive a car because my parents, for an example, they both agreed that they would not teach me how to drive just because of my attention deficit alone. And then also because it's expensive taking care of a car. And so there's that. I didn't come from the kind of family where you are born with a silver spoon in your hand or mouth, whatever, or platinum, whatever. I didn't come from a rich family. Okay, I came from like a kind of sort of middle class family. I think I guess you would like identify that as such. But no, I didn't have that kind of opportunity. So I really envy the teenagers who, have the opportunity to learn how to drive and, have people that want to teach them how to drive. Like their parents or their aunts or uncles or even grandparents want to teach them how to drive. But it's sad because I had like a cousin that when she had the opportunity to learn how to drive, she didn't have the she didn't put effort into it. Like she didn't really want to learn how to drive. And it's sad because the old saying goes that youth is wasted on the young. It's true because if I had that opportunity to learn how to drive a car, I would be super psyched. Because I've never had anyone ever believe that I could drive a car. Or let alone give me a chance. So it sucks. Basically. I mean, you could even give me a crap car and I would be willing to take the car if it meant being taught how to drive. Basically. But this cousin of mine, she had a grandpa that was willing to teach her how to drive, get her learner's permit and everything. And even went out of his way to get like a red Corvette. But what I've noticed about that one cousin is she's spoiled. And I didn't come from that kind of background. My parents humbled me, so pretty much I really don't, yeah, I really don't have those kind of opportunities to like learn how to drive and such. The only way I'd be able to learn how to drive is if I found like a relationship that I can actually tolerate with somebody who would be willing to teach me to drive a car. Basically, that's the only way I could be able to learn. Because my dad actually did teach my mom how to drive, so there's that. But I've never learned how to drive a car, and I'm 27. It sucks. Even though I know I'm gonna be 28 pretty soon. But if I had it my way, I would like to be taught how to drive a car. That would be like quite a positive birthday gift, I think. But I've never been able to have that opportunity because on my own I don't think I can afford a car. And well, my mother does tell me he wouldn't be able to anyway. So there's that. But if I could drive a car, I'd be super psyched. But I just wish people would actually believe in me enough to teach me how to drive. And I really don't get that. If I had somebody who believed in me enough to teach me how to drive a car, I'd be happy. But I haven't been able to get that. It's just so it sucks. Me and my obsession with cars, okay? I'm trying to think of what else, what other type of facts I can talk about here. Oh yeah, one of my favorite scents is lavender. I like things that are scented with lavender, even perfume. But I also have my own favorite types of perfume. I tend to like the Angel perfume, but I usually get the cheaper stuff of it, not the expensive, like the imitation ones. But the one I tend to like more is from like Walmart. The one from Walgreens doesn't stay very well. Doesn't have much of a staying power. Like it fades, basically. But it's one of the perfumes I like. Let's see, what other things that I Shoot. My mind's kind of just like going off into outer space again. Oh yeah. So like I said, I'm humorous, but just about anything will make me laugh, pretty much. Everything from dark humor to toilet humor to immature humor to sarcastic humor. So pretty much anything that I find funny. But there are certain types of humor that I don't really get all that much of a good laugh out of. But yeah, like I said, I do have humor, but not everything makes me laugh. If it's boring to me, I'm less likely to laugh. But no, I don't know. Sometimes really dumb humor is funny. Like with South Park, how they had the cat orgy episode. I love that. How outrageous South Park is. Not as outrageous as they used to be. I just love it when they go with the really outrageous episodes. They need to start doing more outrageous ones. They've kind of cut back a little bit on being outrageous lately, and it's like, God, I wish they would, just go back to the old ways of doing their videos with the humor. I'm saying, just with the humor itself, because it just seems like, yeah, a lot of the episodes are pretty funny, but I really like the really classic South Park episodes, like the cat orgy episode. But no, so I like watching a lot of those inappropriate and adult cartoons. Like South Park, for example, even though kids watch it, teenagers watch it. But, let's see, what else? I'm trying to think. It sucks when you're just on a trail of thinking here and you can't quite. Oh yeah, like I said, I like horror movies, but I also do like a lot of stuff that's supernatural in nature. I like ghost stories. I like scary stuff in general. Um, but I'm quite a critic with it. Like if I think something isn't scary, someone else might find something scary. I'll give you a prime example. There's an urban legend surrounding, I think it was a Japanese scary story. To me, it wasn't scary. It sounded like a fairy tale. Um, I believe it was The Cow's Head. I read that actual story and nothing bad happened to me, like they said in the urban legend. It's just bullshit. Which goes to this conclusion where they got those, how you have those letters where you gotta pass them on or such and such will come and kill you. I don't believe in those. I think they're bullshit. Every single one of them is bullshit. Anyone tells you, even if it's something like positive will happen to you if you pass the letter on, like the whole luck deal, I don't believe in those things. I think they're just not real, bogus, lame. You can pass them on to as many people as possible and nothing will happen. Good or bad. It's just bogus. Quite personally. So there's some, stuff I'm pretty skeptical about. But there are some things that are more believable as far as scary stories go. Especially if they've actually happened in real history. I'm trying to think of a prime example of that. But no, there's been stories of serial killers, scary stories based around serial killers and such and whatnot. And those are more believable because there are people out there that do brutally kill people. Okay. And, for some reason, for the life of me, I kind of do have, like, a fascination with, like, reading about serial killers. I know it's kind of messed up, but, and all those, really messed up stories that circulate and stuff through the internet are pretty entertaining. I do enjoy creepypasta. Tales of Dark Nights, any YouTube channel that has scary stories. I really, really get into it, but every now and then you get stories that are like, that's not scary. That's stupid. Like there was one in general, about this guy who had like a demon within, and I know it's probably a spoiler, but I wouldn't suggest watching that because it's stupid. But no, especially when he let his inner demon out, it came out like a fart. I was like, oh god, this is retarded. I was like, and that's scary, and I submitted them a story that was scarier than that. Probably a little too scary for them to handle. Well, the general basis of it was kind of like that concept of playing a game. Like, you do the whole Bloody Mary kind of thing where you have to repeat her name several times. Well, what it was is you had to, like, call upon an entity, right? And what it was is you have, like, this chant thing you do. And, well, the one character in there, she survived because she was, like, she didn't want to engage in this, and she was, like, religious and such, and they were all, like, pretty much atheists. I just thought it would make the story interesting. I just did it for that reason alone. But what it was is when they actually did that, a tree fell on the car outside and the power went out. Like in a typical horror movie, I guess. But each one of them, except for the one character that survives, they all died horrifically. In pretty graphic ways. Pretty much. So there's that. But I thought it made a pretty good story, actually. I was quite proud of it that I did it. I just wish they would have, acknowledged the submission that I did. But it was 10 times better than the one story that I read off of their actual, not read, but actually heard off of their actual YouTube thing. That I thought was like the dumbest story ever. And I'm not the only one who actually commented on that, being stupid. I don't know, I might have commented on it, I don't really remember. It's been that far back to my memory, as far as I'm concerned. But no, other people thought the story was stupid with, I think it was called The Demon Within. I don't remember, but supposedly when his demon came out, it came out like a fart. It wasn't the slightest bit scary, it was just stupid. You don't know whether to laugh or be like, what the hell am I hearing here? Seriously? Your demon comes out like a fucking fart? Well, if that's the case, then I have a demon come out a lot too, because of my fart. Oh dear. But I'm trying to think of other facts about myself, and I guess if I said all of them, it'd probably like overblow this video. So I guess I'm gonna have to cut this short, and I'll get back to you if I have more facts. Like I might create like a second part to this, just because this one video is a little too sinking long.